Hello students, welcome to this online video lecture which is conducted by Rayat Shikshan Samstha Satara, Sadguru Gadge Maharaj College Karad under the ROSE project. Myself, Mrs. Zadge SR, presenting here the third lecture from reproduction in lower and higher plants. In previous lecture, we have completed the detailed structures about the male reproductive whorl, that is androsheme. Now in lecture number 3, we are going to see the detailed structures about the female reproductive whorl, that is the gynoecium. Here in the angiospermic plants, female reproductive whorl, it is known as a gynoecium. It is also called as a pistil, and this gynoecium or pistil, it is made up of carpels. So individual member here known as the carpel, it is also called as a megasporophyll, and each carpel is showing three parts, that is ovary, style and stigma. So let us see in the diagram these three parts. This is the structure of carpel showing the apical part or the apical region, that is known as the stigma, the tubular region elongated, that is known as the style, and basal swollen portion, that is known as the ovary, and inside the ovary ovules are present. And here first of all we have to see the detailed structure about the ovule which is present inside this ovary. And here in the angiospermic plants, the common type of ovule is present, that is known as the anatropous type of ovule. So in angiospermic plant, most commonly anatropous ovule we can observe. And what is mean by anatropous ovule? What is the structure? Means the ovule which is showing its opening, that is known as the micropyle, directed downwards, and it is present adjacent to the funiculus or funicle. Means here ovule is showing an opening, that is known as a micropyle, and this micropyle is downwardly directed. Such type of ovule is called as a anatropous type of ovule. So let us see in the diagram how the structure of ovule is there. So this is the structure of ovule having the opening. This is the opening, and this opening is known as the micropyle, which is present at the downward direction, and it is present attached with the funiculus or adjacent to the funiculus. This is the structure of funiculus, that means the stalk of the ovule known as the funiculus. So the ovule which is showing the opening at the downward direction and the micropyle region is present adjacent to the funiculus, such type of ovule is called as a anatropous type of ovule. And inside this ovule you can observe there are number of parts or number of structures present. So let us see the detailed structure about this structure of anatropous ovule. So basically this is the diagram of the anatropous ovule showing number of parts. One by one we have to see the each part. So first part of this anatropous ovule is known as the funiculus or stalk. This is the stalk of the ovule to which this ovule is attached with the placenta inside the ovary, and therefore this is called as the stalk of the ovule, funiculus. And this funiculus is attached to the ovule with a very small region. You can see here, this is the very small region. This region is second part of this ovule, that is known as the hilum. So with the help of this hilum, the funiculus is getting attached with the ovule. Okay. Now the third part of this ovule is the opening which is present at the downward direction. It is known as the micropyle, and this is the third region or third part of this anatropous ovule. Next here the base of the ovule. You can see here, this is the base of the ovule, and this base of the ovule is known as the chaliza. This is the fourth part of the ovule. And inside the ovule you can see here, this is the largest region or the largest part. I am showing here, this is the largest part of this ovule. This is known as the nucellus, which is made up of parenchymatous tissue. So here fifth part of this anatropous ovule is nucellus, which is known as a central parenchymatous tissue. And inside this nucellus you can see here the ovular structure is present, and outside the nucellus you can see here two coverings are there. This is the inner covering and this is the outer covering. So first of all we have to see the structure of these coverings. Two layered covering is present around the nucellus, and these two coverings are known as the integuments, and these integuments are protective in nature. The inner covering is known as the inner integument, outer covering is known as the outer integument. And inside the ovule, here the central part of this ovule, you can see here, this is the oval region present inside the nucellus. This is known as the embryo sac or female gametophyte, which is the actual fertile part of this ovule. And inside this embryo sac or female gametophyte, you can see the number of cells and nuclei are present. Let us see how this embryo sac is there and what are the different structures inside the embryo sac present. And here the all 7 structures which are present in the anatropous ovule that we have seen. Let us see the structure of this female gametophyte or embryo sac. So you can see here, this is the structure of female gametophyte or embryo sac. This is the chaliceal end and here the micropylar end. Towards the chaliceal end, 3 cells are present. These 3 cells, you can see here these 3 cells, these are known as the antipodal cells. In the center, 2 nuclei are there. These are known as a polar nuclei and cell is known as a central cell. And towards the micropylar end, 3 celled egg apparatus is there. Out of that, 1 central is known as a egg cell and 2 lateral cells are known as a synergids. So synergids are present 2 and egg cell is 1. Polar nuclei are 2 in number and these antipodal cells are showing 3 cells or thin nuclei. So this embryo sac showing 8 nuclei. You can see here the 3 nuclei are present at the chaliceal end, 2 nuclei are present at the center and 3 nuclei are present at the micropylar end. So total you can see here 8 nuclei are there and cells you can count here. The 3 cells are present at the chaliceal end, 3 cells are present at the micropylar end and 1 cell is present at the center. So about 7 cells are there and 8 nuclei are there and therefore such type of embryo sac is called as 7 celled 8 nucleated embryo sac. Out of that, chaliceal end is showing 3 antipodal cells, micropylar end is showing 3 celled egg apparatus and central cell is showing 2 polar nuclei. So this is all about the structure of the female gametophyte or embryo sac. Now how this embryo sac is formed, that we have to see. So the process, that is the formation of megaspore from the megaspore mother cell, it is known as the megasporogenesis. So here the diploid megaspore mother cell is undergoing meiosis to form haploid megaspores and this process is known as a megasporogenesis. And the megaspore mother cell is formed in the nucellar region, means the cells which are present in the nucellus are distinguished into the megaspore mother cells and these cells are present towards the micropylar end of the ovule. Means inside the nucellus, the cells which are present at the micropylar end are functioning as a megaspore mother cell and in that megaspore mother cell the developmental process are taking place. So how the development of the female gametophyte or embryo sac is taking place inside this megaspore, that we have to see here. So here first the process, diploid megaspore mother cell is undergone meiosis and there is a formation of linear tetrad of haploid megaspores. So first of all, from the nucellus, the cell which is present towards the micropylar end functions as a megaspore mother cell. It undergoes meiosis and there is a formation of 4 haploid megaspores which are present in a linear manner. Out of that 4 haploid megaspores, only one functional chaliceal megaspore is remain functioning and while remaining 3 are getting degenerated. So out of 4 megaspores, only chaliceal megaspore remains functional and remaining 3 are getting degenerated. And in that chaliceal megaspore, the further divisions of the development of the female gametophyte are taking place. So here the chaliceal megaspore is the first cell of the female gametophyte. In the chaliceal megaspore, the further developmental stages are seen that haploid nucleus of the functional megaspore undergoes 3 successive free nuclear mitotic divisions to produce 8 nuclei. So what happens, you see here this functional chaliceal megaspore showing here 3 mitotic divisions, but firstly free nuclear mitotic division we can see and afterwards there is a cell formation taking place. So here from this 8-celled structure or 8 nucleated structure, finally cellular organization is taking place, and there is formation of 3-celled egg apparatus, that is one egg and two synergids at a micropylar end. 3 antipodal cells are formed at the chaliceal end, and 2 polar nuclei are remaining in the center. So out of these 8 nuclei, 3 nuclei are getting arranged at the micropylar end, 3 nuclei are getting arranged at the chaliceal end, and 2 nuclei are remaining at the center. And afterwards there is cell wall formation is taking place, and thus there is formation of 8 nucleated 7-celled female gametophyte is formed. Now let us see how this 8 nucleated 7-celled female gametophyte is formed from the diploid megaspore mother cell with the help of this diagrammatic representation. So here this is the first megaspore mother cell, which is a diploid. It is undergoing meiosis, and there is a formation of 4 haploid cells. You can see here from diploid megaspore mother cell 4 haploid cells are formed. Out of that 3 are getting degenerated, and only chaliceal functional megaspore remains as it is, in which further developmental stages are taking place. So here this is the haploid chaliceal megaspore which is functional, and further the 3 successive mitotic divisions are formed inside this functional chaliceal megaspore. So the first mitotic division here, after first mitotic division, the single nucleus is getting divided into 2 nuclei, and these 2 nuclei are getting transported towards the pole region, upper pole and lower pole, and there is formation of 2 nuclei from this mitosis first. Then in these 2 nuclei, mitosis second is carried out, and with the help of this mitosis second division, each polar nuclei is converted into 2 nuclei. So upper pole 2 nuclei will be formed, and in lower pole 2 nuclei will be formed. And then third third mitotic division is taking place, and the 2 nuclei which is present at the upper pole region, they are forming 4 nuclei, and 2 nuclei which are present at the lower pole, they are showing 4 nuclei. So here 4 nuclei towards the upper pole and 4 nuclei towards the lower pole, 8 nucleated structure will be formed. So here during first mitotic division 2 nuclei are formed. After mitotic second division 4 nuclei will be formed, and after third mitotic division 8 nuclei will be formed. And these 8 nuclei are getting arranged into 3 antipodal cells at the chaliceal end, 2 polar nuclei at the center, and 3-celled egg apparatus at the micropylar end. So total here 8 nuclei will be formed. Out of that 3 nuclei are remaining at the chaliceal end. Afterwards cell wall formation is taking place, and hence 3 antipodal cells are formed at the chaliceal end. Here at the lower pole 3 nuclei are arranged into the egg apparatus. Out of that one is egg cell, and the 2 lateral are known as the synergids, and one nucleus from upper region and one nucleus from lower region, they are coming in the center, and they are forming 2 polar nuclei in the center. In this way, here there is a formation of 8 nucleated 7-celled structure which is known as the mature or final embryo sac, which is formed during the development of this embryo sac. Okay, so in this way the embryo sac or female gametophyte development is taking place by this megaspore mother cell, and here this development of the female gametophyte from the megaspore is taking place, and final mature female gametophyte and embryo sac will be formed. We have to see in this diagram the detailed structure of this mature female gametophyte or embryo sac. You can see at the chaliceal end 3 antipodal cells are there. These are the 3 antipodal cells. Next here in the center you can see here the 2 polar nuclei are formed in the central cell, and at the micropylar end the 3-celled egg apparatus is there. This is the egg, and these are the 2 synergids. And here one special characteristic feature is present inside the synergids. You can see here in the diagram. These are the special structures which are known as the filiform apparatus. What is the function of filiform apparatus here? This filiform apparatus is guiding the pollen tube towards the entry of the pollen tube inside the ovule. After pollination, pollen grain germination will be occur on the stigma, and that pollen tube grows towards the ovule, and after entering into the ovule, these pollen tubes are getting entered inside this embryo sac. So where the egg is situated, that location, it is guided by this filiform apparatus during the fertilization. That is the role of this filiform apparatus. Okay, so this is all about the development of the female gametophyte or embryo sac. Now the 2 points related to this embryo sac development that we have to see here. So first here, the development of the female gametophyte takes place inside the megaspore, and therefore such type of development is called as a endosporic type of development. All the developmental stages regarding the development of the female gametophyte are taking place inside the megaspore, and hence it is known as a endosporic. And the only one megaspore is taking part in the formation of embryo sac, and hence it is called as a monosporic type of embryo sac. Only one spore or one megaspore is taking participation into the development of the embryo sac, and hence it is called as a monosporic. Mono means a single, sporic means a spore, and endo means inside the spore, and hence these two terms are generally used for the development of the female gametophyte inside the ovule. Okay, so in this way the development of the female gametophyte we have completed. Now the points related to the NEET exam that we have to see here, the similar terms which are used that we have to see here. The microsporophylls are known as stamens or androecium. Next, microsporangia are known as anther, and inside the anther microspores will be formed which are known as pollen grains, and from pollen grain male gametophyte will be formed which is showing two male gamete formation. So in primitive type of plants, means in gymnospermic plant or in pteridophyte bryophyte, microsporophyll term is used, but in angiosperm it is known as a stamen. Microsporangia is known as anther, and inside the anther microspores are formed which are known as a pollen grain, and from pollen grain male gametophyte is developed having two male gametes. This is about the androecium or the male part. Likewise here megasporophylls are known as carpels or gynoecium, and inside this gynoecium ovules are there which are known as a megasporangia. These are the related terms, and inside the ovule megaspore is there from which embryo sac or female gametophyte development is taking place. So the related terms, similar terms, that is very important for the NEET examination point of view that we have seen. Okay, so this is all about the development of this female gametophyte. Now let us see the next point, that is the pollination, and here we have to see the types of pollination and the different agencies which are required for the pollination. So first of all we have to see what is meant by pollination. The process of transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma of a flower is called as a pollination. Means the pollen grains are getting transferred from anther to the stigma, that is known as the pollination. And basically there are three types of pollination that we have to see here. The first type of pollination is known as self-pollination, or it is also known as autogamy. Second type of pollination is known as geitonogamy, and third type of pollination is known as genogamy, or it is also called as cross-pollination, or it is also called as outbreeding. One by one we have to see these types. So first type here is the self-pollination, or it is also called as autogamy. So what is mean by autogamy or self-pollination? When the pollen grains are transferred from anther to the stigma of the same flower, that means the pollination which is taking place in the same flower, that type of pollination is called as autogamy or self-pollination. This type of pollination you can see here in the diagram, the anther, and here the pollen grains are formed inside the anther, and these pollen grains are transferred towards the stigma of the same flower. Here you can see the same flower is there, and inside the same flower the pollen grains are transferred from the anther to the stigma of the same flower. Such type of pollination is called as a self-pollination. Okay. This type of pollination is occurring only in the bisexual flower. Means the flowers are having both the essential whorls, androecium and gynoecium, then only the self-pollination or autogamy is possible. Example here, pea plant, and it occurs without pollinating agents. Means there is no requirement or of any insect or any pollinating agent for the transfer, because the pollen grains are transferred to the same flower. Hence there is no requirement of the pollinating agent. This is the first type of pollination, that is known as the autogamy or self-pollination. Okay. Now here some points related to autogamy we have to see. In some angiospermic plants, two types of flowers are produced. The first type is known as a chasmogamous flower. What is meant by chasmogamous flower? The flowers which are opening to expose its sex organs, means the flowers which are exposing its androecium and gynoecium. Those flowers are known as chasmogamous flowers. The flowers which we have seen around us, those all flowers are known as chasmogamous flowers, which are opening and exposing its androecium and gynoecium to the environment. And second type of flower, that is known as the clistoglamous flowers. These flowers are special types of flowers which are present underground, and these are never opened, and hence they are getting self-pollinated. Means inside the ground, inside the ground or underground, the flowers are produced in some plants which are never opened, and they are getting self-pollinated. For example, here viola plant is there and Commelina bengalensis plant is there. Both of these plants are showing two types of flowers. Some flowers which are present above the ground, those are known as a chasmogamous flower, and the flowers which are present underground, these are known as the clistogamous flowers. Okay. So let us see these both types of flowers in the diagram here. So here the first diagram is flowers of the viola. Okay. So first here you can see the chasmogamous flowers which are present above the ground, showing normal pollination, and here the clistogamous flowers are present in the viola plant which are underground. You can see here these are the flowers which are present underground, and they are never opened, and hence they are getting self pollinated, and these are the underground seeds which are formed after autogamy. You can observe here the seeds are present inside the flower after self pollination or autogamy. These are the flowers of the viola. Now let us see the flowers of the Commelina bengalensis. So here the violet colored flower is there, or blue colored flower is there. This is the chasmogamous flower of the Commelina, which is present above the ground, and these are the clistogamous flowers. You can see here these are the number of the flowers, and these are the clistogamous flowers which are present underground, and here the underground flowers are known as a clistogamous flowers, which are responsible for the self pollination or autogamy. Okay. Now let us see, there are some conditions which are favorable for the self pollination we can observe in the plants. The first condition is known as the bisexuality. When the flowers are bisexual, then there is favorable condition for the self pollination we can observe. So here presence of both essential whorls favors the self pollination, because androecium and gynoecium both are present in the same flower, and therefore their possibility of the self pollination is more. Second condition is known as a homogamy. What is mean by homogamy? That means the anther and stigma are becoming mature at the same time, and therefore this is also favorable condition for the self pollination. Anther and stigma of a flower maturing at the same time, and therefore there will be more chances of the self pollination. And third here is known as the clistogamy. Just we have seen the clistogamous flowers which are present in some plants, they are also favoring the self pollination. Means here naturally in some plants these conditions are present, that is bisexuality, homogamy and clistogamy, which are responsible for self pollination. That we have to remember. This is the first type, self pollination. Now the second type, it is known as a geitonogamy. Here what happens, the transfer of pollen grains is taking place from anther to the stigma, but it is to a different flower. produced on the same plant. That difference between autogamy and geitonogamy we have to remember. Here transfer of pollen grain to the stigma is taking place of a different flower produced on the same plant. Means here the pollination is taking place between two different flowers which are produced on the same plant, and such type of pollination is known as a geitonogamy. Example here maize and Cucurbita maxima. So let us see in the diagram here. This is the maize plant. Here the male inflorescence is present at the apex. Hence here are the anther, and the female flowers are present at the below region. Here is the stigma. So anthers are transferred from one flower to another flower. Such type of pollination is called as a geitonogamy. Here the flowers are produced on the same plant and the pollination is taking place on the two different flowers present on the same plant. That we have to remember. This is the second type, geitonogamy, and the third type here, it is known as the gynogamy, or it is also called as a cross pollination or outbreeding. Here what happens, the pollen grains are transferred from one flower to the another flower which is present on the different plant belonging to the same species. So here pollen grains of one flower is deposited on the stigma of a flower of different plant belonging to the same species with the help of pollinating agent. Means here two different plants are taking part into the pollination process. The transfer of pollen grain is taking place from one plant to other plant of the same species, and here the transfer is taking place with the help of some pollinating agents. Okay, so it is producing the genetically varied offsprings because here the two different plants are taking part, and therefore genetically varied offspring will be produced after the pollination. So let us see in the diagram here. This is flowers, first flower which is present on first plant, and this is second flower which is produced on the second plant. And here the pollen grains are transferred from one flower to another flower which is present on the different plant. Such type of pollination is known as a gynogamy or cross pollination. Or you can see here, this is one plant and this is second plant, and the anthers are producing pollen grains. These pollen grains are transferred from one plant to another plant with the help of wind, insect or any animal. Various pollinating agents we can see for the pollination mechanism. So in this way, the third type, it is known as a cross pollination or outbreeding because the pollination is taking place between two different plants. Okay, so let us see all the types in a single diagram here. This is the autogamy. First type, pollen grain transfer is taking place within one flower. The pollen grains from one flower are deposited on the stigma of the same flower. The second type is known as a geitonogamy, where the pollen grains are transferred between flowers of one plant individual. This is a single plant, and from one flower the pollen grains are transferred to the another flower which are produced on the same plant. And the third type here known as the gynogamy. This is the first plant and this is the second plant. So here pollen grains are transferred from one plant to the another plant. Okay, so in this way, this is the third type, gynogamy, where pollen grains are transferred between the flowers of different plant varieties or individuals. So in this way we have completed the structure of gynoecium and the types of the pollination in this lecture. So thank you all for watching this video. The next point we will discuss in the next lecture. Thank you.